adding a little bit more diversity to our Union Pacific themed line. This is a Western Pacific number 179 482 Mountain. No, not the mountains behind it. That's what they call this type of engine. And it's awesome. But for those with a keen eye, you may have noticed that Lionel recently released in their Volume 2 catalog for 2024 this same engine. So should I have waited and ordered one, or was this the better deal? So let's dive in. Let's start by looking at the Lionel TMCC 482 Mountain. This is the Western Pacific number 179. And it's a really sharp engine, especially considering it came out in 2001. Yeah, it's a pretty old engine, but you wouldn't know that just by looking at the physical features on this.
Western Pacific 179, you are clear for departure.
Older TMCC models had this single line of road number specific dialogue and some garbled crew talk, and that was really it. So you still had nice sounds like this bell, which has a nice taper to it when you're done. The whistle's not awful. It's got a bit of a sound file issue with one of the blasts, but they all kind of sound the same. This is long before Lionel was even thinking of quilling whistles, so it's understandable. Plus, this thing has Odyssey 1, so while it's not the smoothest speed control or cruise control, it's actually quite good. You'll also notice when it stops and starts, the ash pan glow turns itself on and off. You'll notice that throughout the rest of the video. Just a really nice, high-end, high-quality feature on these models. Speaking of which, this thing was far ahead for its time in terms of exterior detailing. There's lots of separately applied details all over this engine, which, honestly, if I didn't tell you this thing was made in 2001, you'd probably think this was a newer model, despite the fact that it's got a halogen headlamp up front. That's really about the only visual giveaway on this thing. Otherwise, it looks spectacular. Up front, we've got a opening smoke box, so you can access that halogen and swap it out for an LED. There's lots of nice separately applied details, obviously not a swinging bell like you get with the modern engines, even though the new ones don't have this. The smoke works great, although it doesn't puff when you move, it just is on or off. There's this lovely detailing all along the sides, all the externally applied details, and even the dummy coupler up front has a little chain on the front. Again, lots of exterior details. I'm trying my hardest not to make this a full-on review because I will do one of those later, but all the running gear, all the details on this stuff, this really does seem like a higher-end model, especially considering that this thing is old enough to drink. The rear electric coupler works fine, obviously, and one of the things I like about this design is this one specifically has a kind of smaller tender, which means semi-scale freight looks fine behind it. Even kind of my middle-of-the-road semi-scale stuff, like Rail King, works really well. It's actually even with the size of the tender. And full-scale stuff, like this boxcar here, again, obviously it's supposed to be able to pull stuff like this because this is a full-scale model. With that being said, this model is listed to make its way around 054 curves for a minimum, but it just made its way around that 048 turn no problem. So if you've got a smaller layout but you want bigger steam, this might be a good option for you. And I say that because, again, this model here from 2001 is the same casting that's going to be used on the brand new 2024 Mountains that'll be coming out with the new catalog. But I want to focus on the price because this thing in 2001 retailed for just over $1,000. Adjusted for inflation in 2024, that would make this engine almost $2,000 to purchase. So if you're looking at the new 2024 catalog and the Mountain $1,600 price tag seems like a bargain, yeah, if you look at it that way, it really does. Being a modern legacy engine means this picks up a ton of electronic features. So not only does its cruise control get upgraded to Odyssey 2, so it's much smoother, but then you've got, crisper LED lighting everywhere. You'll have whistle steam, way more options for crew dialogue, a bunch of other stuff, and the option to be able to control these with more than just a cab one. You can really do anything with these new engines. So back to the one I've got here, this thing is well old enough to be drinking. Heck, it can almost rent its own car. So price has come down, and quite a bit in this engine's case. Would you believe me if I said that this engine, with the same casting and size and same basic features, cost a fraction of what it was new, let alone of what the brand new ones are in the catalog? Yes, this 482 full-scale, TMCC-controlled mountain cost $340. What? Disclaimer, I didn't use a coupon or anything fancy. I had just been following this one for a long time on trains.com, and the price finally got to the point where I could not pass it up. It's just too good of a deal. And if you've seen my video on new versus used, or seen any of my buying tips for using trains.com, this is exactly why I still look at getting used engines seriously. Because, again, look at all of this detail. Look at everything that you're getting visually. And it's got command control, so unless you need Bluetooth control, unless you need whistle steam in your life, is it really worth the extra absorbent amount of money to get this thing? Because it looks fantastic. It runs super great. It's even got a glowing ash pan. I just think that is so cool. I am not saying don't buy the new one. I'm just saying that Lionel's made these before. So do your homework on stuff. Make sure that it's really worth the price difference, because if you just need to have command control and to move and to look good, the old ones really do that quite well. And I did my homework on a recent Hudson because I'd been eyeing the Lion Master, but it turns out the new one that's in the catalog is not that much more than what used ones go for typically. So I placed my order on one already. And this 179 Western Pacific exists in real life, or at least it did at one point. So bonus points on this. That's another reason why I decided to pick this one up, because I just like finding stuff that actually existed. It's kind of neat. If you decide to go used, check out my friends at trains.com, because they've got an awesome selection and lots of great search tools to help you find yours. That's how I found this one, and I kept it in my wish list until the price dropped to this awesome deal that I got on it. And if you want an even better deal, use my code DATAFIED at checkout to save $10 off your order of $50 or more. It's a one-time use, so yeah, have fun with it. Come to think of it, if you're watching this video now, there's actually a few of these still on trains.com, and yeah, they're pretty reasonably priced again. So if I've convinced you that the older way is the better way to go check one out, because I'm really happy with this one. Again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know, do you guys still choose new versus used? In this case, again, the price really trumps the new one. Even if I really did want whistle steam or more Bluetooth control or things like that, I just can't overlook the price difference on this. But let me know which way you tend to go. I'll still have a full review out for this engine soon, so stay tuned. And speaking of that, please subscribe, like, comment, all that other fun stuff, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
What's this engine?
Is he a little loud?
Yeah.
I'll turn it down a notch.
Western Pacific 179, you are clear for departure.
You can wake up